Well, Laura Blumenfeld is a Middle East analyst and a former US State Department advisor for the Middle East and a current senior fellow at the Philip Merrill Center for Strategic Studies at Johns Hopkins. Thank you very much for being with us today. Very busy day, a lot going on. Were you surprised that this happened, these strikes were launched on Iran now, or was this very much on the cards, do you think?
Well, I think that when you flex muscle, which is what Israel was doing, and frankly Iran, sometimes when the shirt's too tight, you pop buttons. And I think that so much tension has been building up really since October 7th, since Israel and Iran have already traded tit-for-tat strikes. So yes, Friday the 13th is a fateful day in Israel's military history and Iran's, but it really was 30 years in the making. If you go all the way back to the time that Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was just a young Israeli leader, made that his kind of raison d'etre. This was his, kind of point of no return, but he's been heading in that direction for decades.
And do you think that Israel has achieved its targets? How much has this attack likely to have diminished Iran's nuclear program in a way that makes Israel feel safer? And were they likely, given the recent IAEA warnings about the strengthening of the nuclear program?
Yeah, I think that there's some real tangible military accomplishments here, and there's also some symbolic success as well. I mean, just talking about what kind of targets that they struck and were successful with, there were, from personnel, there were at least 3 top generals from Iran that were taken out, 2 nuclear scientists. Also, in terms of military infrastructure, they managed to damage one of the main nuclear enrichment sites and several other military facilities. And finally, from an intelligence point of view, this wasn't only military dominance, but it was also an intelligence coup, which, as we all know, since October 7th, Israel's been trying to work their way back up from what was a massive intelligence failure. I think it was also a symbolic victory. Look, the operation is called Lion Rising. Lion is a symbol of Israel. It's the Lion of Judah. But the lion is also on the flag of the Shah, the leader of Iran before the Islamic regime took over. So I just wonder if part of this is also, the question still remains, is this about a decapitation of the regime? It's certainly, with the name of the operation, meant to inspire Iranians to take their kind of government back and make it for the people.
So hugely symbolic. And what are the immediate dangers now? Israel in a state of emergency, 100 Iranian drones already intercepted. How big could the backlash be? And are groups like, Hezbollah, Hamas, are they in any position to join Iran in retaliating against Israel?
Well, I think that Hezbollah has already said that they won't retaliate, which of course was always the Iranian regime's life insurance policy. But there are, grave dangers ahead. I mean, on the one hand, you could say the response team from Iran is dead. So perhaps Israel doesn't have as much to worry about because Iran has been significantly degraded by this preemptive attack. On the other hand, as Steve Witkoff, Trump's, special envoy for just about everything, warned, there could be a mass casualty retaliation. If many Israelis died, then that could just sort of escalate things further. And also, what's next? What's the day after plan? Israel hasn't really put forward a coherent plan for Gaza. Can you imagine what is the day after plan for Iran? Will sort of radicals end up sort of fracturing, and will we have something that looks like ISIS spreading back across the Middle East? There's a lot at stake today. This morning, people, at least in Washington, where I'm sitting, are optimistic. As Trump said, it's looking excellent.
A lot at stake on this Friday 13th. Laura Blumenfeld, thank you so much for joining us. That's Laura Blumenfeld, former US State Department